Tom and Sam for Cultaholic. Oh, he's done it again. He's still drunk from the England match. Hang on. There we go. That's us. It's Tom and Sam for Cultaholic. Are you having a lovely day, Sam?
Yeah, I'm great, mate. You?
Me, I'm living the dream, more so because we have wrestling news. And those are our actual names that were down there. They've gone now.
That's
Put them
right.
back on, Andrew. Put them back on,
Andrew. Get those names back on there right now.
Make them spin.
Sorry if I peeked there. I saw it go red momentarily.
It doesn't matter.
Bad.
Make the name spin.
Yeah.
Make the name spin. Make them multicoloured. This is going to add time to the news going out, isn't it? Make them dance along the screen.
Just a little bit.
Add a rain effect. Here's some
There's going to be a middle finger at the bottom of the screen, isn't there?
Make them dance. Here's some wrestling news. Even more WWE changes are coming. We'll get to that in a moment. A future star is teasing an NXT debut, and 2 WWE stars have gone and got married. Let's get to that soon. More changes within WWE. Let's talk about those for a bit. So, Sanjay Dutt, who's been working as a producer for WWE for quite some time, has now left the company. This comes from PW Insider, who says he gave his notice several weeks ago and he has now departed. Was not released, contrary to some other reports that we have heard. No word on what he will end up doing next. I feel like he may end up going back to Impact Wrestling, you know, Sam.
He has a long, storied history with Impact Wrestling, and I feel with Impact hotting up the way it is right now, they could really use somebody with his expertise, and WWE seems to be hell-bent on changing everything about itself right now to a point where it looks like in 6 months the entire company is going to resemble something completely different to what it is in terms of who's staffing it and who's working behind the scenes. So I feel, Sanjay Dutt would be such a great fit for somewhere like Impact. I think, especially if it was Impact itself, because of that tie there historically.
Talking of those changes that are very much realigning the landscape of WWE, another one that's been doing the rounds over the last few hours is Senior Vice President of Talent Development, Seaman. Now, there was conversation from last night that he'd been let go from the company and he was being replaced within his role, a role that he has been in since March of 2012, I do believe, and he was bumped up to Vice President in 2015 of that role. PW Insider gives us an update on that. They say, in regard to the rumours that have made the rounds since last night, the Senior Vice President of Talent Development, Seaman, was no longer with the company. Sources within the company are stating those stories are 100% incorrect, and he remains with WWE. I can imagine there's a lot of conversations like this at the moment, Sam, with so much change, like mix-ups of who's gone and who's staying. I can imagine that's rife.
It, and little tidbits of conversations that may make their way to sources may not be the full story. It may be only a single person's side of the story. Sources are, by their very nature, quite unreliable from time to time, simply because they're kind of collecting hearsay and rumor and presenting it out there for their contacts within the journalism world. So it wouldn't surprise me, as you said, if this was some kind of conversation that's just took on a life of its own. But the fact WWE have had to come out and be like, no, that dictates that obviously, they're quite firm on the stance that he's staying with them. So
Fightful Select reporting amongst all of this that they have been told to keep expecting changes within WWE over the next few weeks. Many sources reporting today that yes, even more changes are coming in front of the camera and behind the scenes at WWE. I wonder whether this is just going to be a consistent thing now. And it seems awful to say this, Sam, but I just think we might have to get used to for the next 4 or 5 months, like talking about releases every month until the end of the year.
I think WWE has been set in its ways for so long that now that it wants to change, it comes with the heavy toll of, that they have to start changing everything at every level. And if they feel that this is the right move for them as a corporation, then they're going to capitalize on that, and they're going to have to, replace staff with people they feel are better suited for the roles, or look at every single role and see who is and isn't, working in terms of what they want eventually. I do feel that, with the Nick Khan factor now a big part of the conversation, and the fact that he's bringing in people from the wider world of entertainment, maybe with a more well-rounded, well-versed knowledge on wider media. We may, as you said, see this for months to come yet, but eventually it will settle. And, hopefully we'll be able to do a news video one day without any WWE releases and without having to talk about people losing their jobs and without all the sad stuff,
What a dream that would be. What a dream that would be. I mean, in amongst all of this going on, all of this change, there is some amazing opportunities opening up for people. We heard yesterday in our news video, which you can watch back now on the channel, about Vince McMahon paying a visit to the Performance Center. Go on, head over there, give it a like. Share it on a Twitter. It's good for our numbers. But do that and then come back right here. Because it's not just Vince McMahon that's paying a visit to the Performance Center. It looks like a lot of WWE stars are going there as well at the moment. A lot of action.
It's apparently Vince is requesting that people get their reps back in at the PC. And it does make sense, I guess, in a way, when you've been confined to a very, very unique situation in terms of COVID and the Thunderdome and the challenges that brought. Now it's kind of, right, we've got to get back to performing in front of a live crowd. Things have to be tighter. Because initially, if you remember way back at the start of the Thunderdome, get to the ad break and we'd see wrestlers just kind of stood around having a chat because they forgot to cut the feed. And I think, it pays to always be, on top of your craft. And of course, WWE being a very performance-driven craft, like live sports entertainment or live wrestling, whichever you want to bill it. It does make a lot of sense that they would have to kind of go and just train a little bit more and get used to it again, get back into the feel of it and get tighter so that when they get in front of a live audience again, it's that same old WWE live experience that you've come to expect over the years. The last thing you'd want to do is return to live touring and have it be a little bit of a, not disaster, but just not quite as tight as it once was,
Absolutely. And it isn't just a case of going there to get your reps in. There's a lot of that going on at the moment, but also there's a lot of WWE stars going to the Performance Center because there's a big push to get this talent that's in the PC on TV to fill in some of those gaps left by some of the lower down card of the roster that were let go. There was a conversation about how 205 Live was stripped bare, and the plan being to kind of replace those with newer, fresher, cheaper talent from the Performance Center.
Yeah, this is the thing. As far back as I guess we can remember into our wrestling childhoods, that's how it always kind of worked before the developmental system took off. You would have new signees coming in through, whatever loose affiliated systems they were working with, and they would bring them in, and then you'd see them get ran through. And if they worked in front of the audience, then they'd eventually get capitalized on and pushed. And you're paying for these talents, you may as well get some use out of them and get them some TV experience at the same time. Because especially new talents in the Performance Center. Could you imagine being a new Performance Center talent? You've wrestled maybe in front of 1,000, 2,000 people tops if you're kind of just your average everyday indie wrestler who's come in, and then all of a sudden you walk back out there the week after COVID and boom, 25,000 people.
Yeah,
you got to be ready for that. So even getting out there, getting squashed is going to help in terms of coming to terms with the whole live atmosphere of wrestling, I guess, on that scale.
A potential reason for this sudden interest in the Performance Center, not just to sort of re-bolster shows like 205 Live, but NXT have revealed that the Breakout tournament's coming back.
Yes! Yeah, okay, the Breakout tournament last time was all right.
You say you're a bit like that about it, but honestly, though, here's the brackets from the NXT Breakout tournament 2019, right?
Yeah.
Dexter Lumis, Bronson Reed, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Cameron Grimes, Angel Garza,
it's
Whackin' Wild, Boa, Jordan Miles. The only guy that's still not with the company is the guy that won the darn thing.
Yeah, and the whole thing, I think it served as one of the better launch pads for new stars in WWE as and when it arrived. I mean, as you said just there, that proves it all. One person is not with the company. And they allowed this showcase to... It kind of endeared the NXT audience to the wrestlers and the wrestlers to the audience. It was quite strange. Everybody was excited. It was fever pitch. It was one of the more fun times to be watching NXT for sure.
Really was. And one of those names that has teased that potentially this might be his time is Parker Boudreaux. Some indications online, some scuttlebutt online suggests that Parker Bordeaux may enter WWE via the NXT system and basically cut a path through the Breakout tournament, which I'd be very, very cool with seeing.
Well, I'd like nothing more than for somebody to just turn up, raise hell, and leave, just like the old days. Just, could you imagine somebody going on such a tear through that tournament that they just get fast-tracked to the main roster and then they don't fumble them?
Do not threaten me with a good time. Do not threaten me with a good time. A debut in the Breakout tournament could certainly be something that happens for our boy Parker Bordeaux. We will see. But what we can confirm today is that love is very much in the air, as today is a very special day for 2 WWE Raw stars, isn't it, Sam? One Raw star, one SmackDown star.
Yes, so following the initial tease on social media by Seth Rollins, WWE have confirmed the news that Rollins and Becky Lynch are indeed getting married on Tuesday, June 29th. So that was yesterday.
Yay!
They got married yesterday. But yeah, congratulations to the pair of them.
Our love will last forever. Don't want to get copyright struck, I'll stop singing it there. It's the only wrestling wedding that seems to have gone well, so that's nice, isn't it?
Well, this is the thing. It's just nice to see two people within the industry just happy. And you know, in an industry where you hear so much just sadness, it's just always really nice to have a nice little story to talk about, isn't it?
That's exactly it. And you know what? In all the nonsense that goes on in the world, we're ending on a nice story. Seth Rollins and Becky marriage. Happy days to you.
Congratulations.
I hope you got the toaster that we sent you. Enjoy all of it.
2 slices, £5 from Morrison's. Plenty more where that came from, Seth. There's kettles. There's all sorts. Hit up.
Stay safe. Love you. Bye.